I love the local church.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
John DeHaven Killman, part 1. Are you part 2?
2.
You're
He's
2.
two.
Dad's DeHaven as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's senior, I'm junior, but now I'm like, do we go to second and then like first, second, third?
I don't know how that
how that
works.
works.
I mean, we called it baby 3. I mean, he's JD 3.
I mean, he's JD3. He's the third. Like, that's not. But do you make the junior the second? I don't know how that works, but
And then Carson Stout.
I don't have a cool.
I
I
mean,
ain't like that.
your name's
I
not
ain't like
Carson. I mean,
No.
you're-
I mean, my
We
middle
did
name's
find out the
Carson.
other day that your dad was from Canada.
From Canada. He's from Nova Scotia.
Ha, don't you know? I feel like that.
What
is
was that?
Is that Canada?
Don't you
know?
Don't you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
No?
yeah.
I don't have one of
Oh,
those.
yeah, bud.
You don't know?
Hey, Dad's from Canada, eh?
Yeah. Hey,
Hey, Dad's from
hey,
Dad's
hey,
from Canada,
hey.
eh? Yeah.
I think you got
All right.
that
I love the local church.
Yeah.
Y'all know I'm very passionate about
Mm-hmm.
the local church. One of my plumb lines is local church matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, obviously, you guys serve in an arena that's very strange inside of the local church. Youth ministry, young adults ministry. Let's talk about the interweave of unity inside of youth ministry, young adults, kids ministry, because your wife, you were a huge part of kids ministry for a long time. Your wife runs kids ministry. The interweaving of all of the generations together into doing all things. We have a generation service coming up where all of us are going to be together, celebrating each other together. I think what happens a lot of times is you get a charismatic youth pastor, and he can get kids there on, let's say, Wednesday night. He can get kids there on Wednesday night. She can get kids there on Wednesday night, but they're not committed to the church.
Right.
They're committed to the youth group. Or you can do outreach events and get a bunch of young adults to show up to this big thing, but you can't get them to commit to the local church. So let's start here. Why the struggle for young adults and for middle schoolers, high schoolers to commit to the local church? Why the struggle?
You go first? I'll go first.
Go for it.
I would say it's like for youth, a lot of times like they identify it as, okay, this is our thing. And I don't know, it's hard sometimes for, I think just as an observation, like it's just hard sometimes for them to go, we have our thing. Like our thing's on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes hard to identify also both at the same time, like, no, it's all our thing.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of we don't really have that struggle right now. We saw that this past Sunday. Like we had a ton of the next generation, especially those middle school, high school age, in service on a Sunday. It's hard for, I think, on a general, I guess, perspective of like, man, we have our night. Like,
It's kind of like a teenager in the house. Yes, this is your room, but we all share the house.
right.
And we all have to keep the house clean, or we all have to do our chores around the house because this whole house is ours.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you have your room, your Wednesday night thing, but all of this is us.
All of it is a part of what we do.
What
It's
we
all
do.
a part of the family. It's all a part of who we are.
So do you talk about, I'll say Sunday morning. I don't really even mean Sunday morning, but do you talk about the greater global church, the Sunday morning inside of Wednesday night youth?
I try to reference you and honor you at least once a night on a Wednesday.
Awesome.
Like try to at least talk about the global aspect and say like, or honor the bishop of the house.
Yeah.
I think every week for the last 4 or 5 weeks, we've prayed for something going on, like in our prayer time. We've prayed for something going on outside. Like when it was VBS week, we were praying for the kids and the volunteers at VBS. When it was Bishop Appreciation, we were praying for you and the family. You know, it
It's
was
huge, man.
So it's doing stuff like that. Yeah, it definitely is big. So I guess I've just kind of been doing it on autopilot, I guess is how I would phrase it. But like, yeah, we make sure we have our focus set on the whole picture, not just what we do.
Yeah. You were once a young adult. You lead young adults. Like, to me, as hard as this group is, that group's even harder to get them connected to the local church.
More freedom.
Yeah, and I would say, there is this piece of, I think, a young adult who wants to make an impact and I think wants to find their place in the world. And I think, for me, a big part of what I try to do is try to convey that message as a part of the local church. When I'm talking to a young adult about things that are going on in their life and, what they have going on, I always try to talk about, the local church and service and, are you plugged into volunteering somewhere, or, if it's somebody.
And what's their response when you're asking these things of them?
So they feel the challenge, and I have
Because
it is.
you got one guy
yeah,
that's so committed to you,
Yeah.
so committed to young adults, and you tell me he's been here. I've never seen him at church.
right.
He serves at things, came to VBS with you, but I've never like he's not fully committed here, but he's committed to you, committed to young adults.
No,
So what are those conversations like? What are they responding when you say, "Bro, you gotta get to Wednesday night prayer or whatever"? What are their responses?
yeah, they know, and when
I know they know, but what are their responses? What are they saying? You're trying to
excuse.
protect
No,
them.
there's always excuses. No, and I think
Always excuses. For
yeah,
sure.
there's it's not just one excuse. There's always something that seems to take priority over what they know is important.
Yeah.
And then there's a response that either I can say, "Oh, I get that," or I can say, "That's the dumbest thing I ever heard." And I don't say it maybe like that, but I'm like, "Really? Like, come on." And I have a relationship with those guys to be able to say that, to be that voice, so I don't feel like they know I have the best intention for them in mind.
Yeah.
So they don't feel like I'm not like maybe there's times I am disappointed in them, but
sure.
I'm also, they know I'm trying to push them for them to be better in their life.
For sure. What's the transition from kids ministry to youth ministry? Do we have a transition? Christy and Haley and Cammie and I talked about this in Friday's podcast. So good. You should go back and watch it if you haven't. But what is to you the transition from one to the other?
Like how? Like, is it smooth? Is it?
Yeah. What is it?
So it is. We saw a glimpse of it this past week of Back to School Sunday, where we get the fifth graders that are going into sixth grade. We wrangle them up and we get them into the dome for kind of the way you described it yesterday is like a little appetizer. Like, hey, this is what youth group is like.
For sure.
And from there, it's just getting them connected. And
What if all those kids show up this week? Do you have enough room for them?
That's what I'm doing right now. My hands are a little dirty. I don't know if you could tell. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm moving the dome around a little bit. So I did the math. We now have 106 chairs in there now. Or we will have 106 by the time we're done.
Wow.
Anyway, so it's that part of it. But then it was, and I was talking to Jackson about this today, it's the consistency after that. Like, just in the follow-up.
For sure.
I've got him texting students. Like, I text 5 a day or something like that. And I said, there'll be 50% of them that will not text you back.
Yeah.
They just won't text you back. You might have a relationship with them, like a good relationship. They won't text you back. But it's the consistency of like, hey, I know I can go to Pastor Carson, right? Hey, I know I can go to this youth leader consistently. And that's where we start with them. Like, all of them have already gotten a text from me today after yesterday.
And a lot of those kids who grew up with you serving in kids ministry already have a relationship with you, so this transition is going to be a lot easier for them. But I would say probably one of the weaknesses for us in the past has been that transition.
Yeah.
And it's been the transition on the other end from you to you, where you have Anna Clark who graduated, move up Sunday, now what?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, well, I don't know here. Do you want to?
Right.
And you're going to have those awkward moments as well. So what's the transition from youth into young adults?
When we have like graduation Sunday, like that's a huge, I guess, a turning point of, okay, they're done with me, now they're yours. And one of the things we did this past year that I didn't do the year prior was I got everybody's information and I gave a list to Miss Kimberly and I gave a list to Pastor Johnny of, hey, here's the high school graduates, here's kind of the other miscellaneous graduates, the ones who graduate college like a special program or something like that. And it was like, hey, get them, here's these list of names and contacts, reach out to them, get them connected, things of that nature. Because it was like, that's an easy one where like, okay, they all graduated from something. And you always get these kind of, I don't want to say weird names, but it's like people you're like, oh, you're not connected really well here. Now you're connected through graduation Sunday. Let's get you connected into young adults or through serving or things of that nature. So I'd say that in terms of transition pieces, that's the one piece we have right now that.
What's the transition from middle school to high school?
Middle school to high school?
Is there? Because they're all together.
They're all together.
So is it just, you moved from this group to this group?
Basically, yeah.
And that happened last week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
one of the things we're working out with our small group leaders is I had a conversation with everybody and I was like, this is the way we were doing small groups. We kind of morphed it and changed it over the summer to where everybody has like their one small group leader,
Yeah.
and you stay with that small group leader. And there was a lot of questions came up of, okay, the school year's coming up, are we going to move with our people? And I kind of asked the general consensus of, do you want to stay with this age group or do you want to stay with your people? And the majority was, I want to stay with this age group, and then next year let's move up with them.
Okay.
So it'll be,
Interesting.
when, let's say I'll use Tony for an example. He's doing ninth graders. When Tony gets his ninth graders this year, they'll be his ninth graders all school year. When they move up to 10th, he just moves right up with them.
Nice.
And so they kind of transition up. That way, that's how we did it in my school with our
Yeah.
guidance counselors.
Yeah.
You had the same guidance counselor from ninth
Totally
all the
makes
way
sense.
through senior year. So
School.
it's a cool little, and that way from middle school to high school, especially in that weird transitionary phase of like you're in a new place with maybe some even new people, and it's 10 times bigger. There's a little bit more consistency.
Did
from
you
us.
ever have any run from the Lord type moments?
In my life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What age?
Graduating high school to going to college.
Yeah.
Because I had the freedom.
Yeah.
I was able to go where I wanted to go when I wanted to go. And I was 4.5 hours away from all of the accountability I had in my life.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was
Mom and Haley, 4.5 hours.
4.5 hours away. Yeah. I never did anything stupid or
Sure.
unrighteous, but it was like,
Just wandered away.
I can go spend money when I want to go spend money. I can go stay out as late as I want to. I don't have the spiritual accountability of reading my Bible as often as I wanted to, so. And it was the environment that I was in. And it wasn't, we play football, we go to school, we play video games all night, we wake up and do the same thing.
Yeah. Did you ever have any wander away from the Lord type moments?
I mean, before I got serious with the Lord, for sure. Like, there was this late middle school to, like, junior year of high school.
Okay.
I had this, like, secret life I was living. And so...
Secret from who?
Obviously,
your friends
my
knew it?
family, and my
Just your
church
family
people.
and church people.
Yeah, like, all the sports guys, they knew.
They knew.
Yeah, but, you're the
You
culture.
were dipping and cussing and
Yeah,
smoking in the boys' room.
I had an older influence in my life, and so I looked older.
Yeah.
So I kind of just did whatever he did and what I was able to get by with doing. So I kind of just did all
What's his
those
name?
things. It was I'd rather not say.
Tony has stories. Pastor Tony around here has stories, and I always say, whenever you start the story, me and my cousin Shane, whenever that's the start of his story,
Yeah.
I know it's not going to be a good
Oh,
story.
no.
So I know anytime Shane
Yeah.
was involved, Tony didn't have a good story.
Yeah, there were multiple people in my life like that, and so I just got in this tangle of doing different things just to get affirmation from other people.
Who was your accountability whenever you came to the Lord? High school, you said to
junior year?
So junior year, you came to the Lord. Who was the accountability in your life?
His name is Jordan Nates. He was
Peer or
peer, a
peer?
year older than me.
Okay.
And I think back and I was like, dude, I was so stupid because I remember him he sat down with a couple of guys, and I remember him trying to disciple us. He had this encounter with the Lord, and he, my life was changed because of, his testimony and his life he lived.
Man, thank God for Jordan. You
Yeah.
know, you keep up with him?
I literally had just, before I went on sabbatical, I messaged him and I was like, bro, how are you doing? Like, we were messaging on IG and just like, talking a little bit, and I just talking about our stories and how crazy it is, where we're at. And
Yeah.
I was like, we totally, like, he was in my wedding. Like, he
Super
was,
cool.
like, he's a big part of my life, huge
Praise
part
the
of my
Lord.
life. But I remember, like, him trying to tell us what the gospel, like, explain the gospel, breaking down the gospel for,
And
like,
now
it
you
was-
have your master's and doctorate, and you're like, you are so
well, no, at the time,
misguided with your
we were,
theology.
no, we were just, like, joking around. We were, like, the same things that, I have to deal with from a place of authority or discipleship process. I'm dealing with now
For sure.
me, like I'm discipling me at that
That's
time.
awesome.
So, Jordan Nates was a huge part
So
of that.
peer
Yeah.
accountability. How about you? Who were you? You had a peer or a youth leader? Obviously, you had Haley, your mom.
I was like, hey, my mom. And then I remember in college, it was when we had accepted membership here. I remember you FaceTime me, and you FaceTime me and like showed me the crowd. That was cool. It was honestly like after that moment, it was like, man, Pastor Jamie is somebody I need to
the Lord.
focus him, and it was like, yeah, that's going to be my spiritual accountability. Like, and we talked about this at Bishop Appreciation where it was like, I didn't realize what I was doing, the imitation part of it.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I just need to imitate that guy.
Yeah.
Whatever he's doing, I'm going to do it. You know.
Love it.
And then obviously, my mom and my wife my girlfriend at the time, but my wife now, we're definitely like.
She's such a good girl, isn't she?
She's the best, and she's not here for us to like talk about.
She
her
would love this conversation
so much. If she's gonna watch this and she's gonna go, oh, why did you talk about me on the podcast?
I love it. So peer accountability. So how do you? Again, there's some easy answers here. How do you build peer accountability into youth group and young adults? I mean, obviously, the easy start is small groups.
100%.
So
100%. Are you talking about from us or from?
What are some things you can do to cultivate peer accountability?
Yeah, I think you got to ask the right questions.
Absolutely.
I think it's not even just having small group, because you can ask. You're talking to the guy who loves Bible trivia, Bible facts, and that stuff's all good. Biblical literacy is important, but if you're not able to get to important questions that touch the heart of people and kind of allow you to dig and explore and find a temperature on where they're at in their life, then I think you're missing a crucial.
So like what?
Part in their
Ask
life.
me a question. Ask me. So I'm in a small group. You're young adults. I'm sitting over in the corner with my hat cocked sideways, and you're running a small group. What's the kind of question you're throwing out at me?
I would talk about something like, hey, what's one of the reasons what keeps you from a relationship with God? Like and I don't say it as directly to them. It's not you. We're talking about somebody else at
gotcha.
first. So we're saying, why do you think somebody else,
People,
when they mess
others.
up, when they sin, when they have those things that come up in their life, what keeps them from?
So then they answer for somebody else, and then as they're talking, they start.
It's kind of like
unraveling.
Because they'll say that, because I know at times in my life, in your life.
Oh, what happened in your life?
So let's talk
Yeah,
about
tell
that
me
a
about
little
what happened
bit.
in
Let's
your
talk about your life.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you try to. You're not manipulating, but you're trying to find a common ground.
You're trying to find the entry point.
Yeah. And so once you kind of find that, then you can kind of take that and don't use it to beat them over the head.
Yeah.
Use it to say, man, I'm proud of you for, whatever that point is. This is what I would suggest. Maybe recommend or follow up later
In youth
your
group,
conversations.
we have peer-run small groups for high school.
Correct.
And youth leader-run small groups for middle school.
Yeah.
So you're giving them the questions to ask, and they're just having conversations as high schoolers.
Yeah, and I think the best place you have to start, especially if you are like a youth leader leading a small group, you have to build some level of trust. Because if the kid doesn't trust you or even know who you are, like there's no way they're gonna open up or say anything about their personal walk. Like that kids aren't wired like that. Like they're not just gonna spill their guts in the middle of a small group because that's what we do. There has to be like, you almost kind of have to set the pace of like, hey, this is small group, this is what we do. But we always kick it off with like hey, let's build trust question, or hey, let's figure out a little bit more about each other, like who we are, beyond what's your name, how old are you, where do you go to school, just things of that nature. But like in the peer-led stuff, it is the way we group them together, not in a cliquey sort of way, but it's like, okay, you're all 12th grade girls. Okay, all of the 12th grade girls, you're going to go together. Here's a 12th grade girl that's going to lead your small group. And I think with that, it builds this level of trust amongst the group of we have a shared experience.
Let's talk. I think one of the things people are intrigued by from our church in general is growth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's talk growth. We got a big staff text, and last week I sent a text out in the staff group text, and I said, I just want to take a moment and celebrate what God is doing through Carson, where last year for this month, Carson averaged 7. Last week, Carson had 71 or whatever in teenagers and youth.
It's incredible.
And I don't know what percentage of growth that is, but it is a lot.
That's a lot.
It's
So
like 1,000.
yeah, it's a bunch. And so there was a season where, without being too clear, there was a season here in youth where we went through a little bit of a mess.
Yeah.
And you came in, and I remember having a conversation in my office of the kids in our youth group. My son went through 4 or 5 different youth pastors.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter Carson went through 4 or 5 different youth pastors. Cammie going through 4 or 5 different 6 different youth pastors. So this is a weird role where people who think they want to make an impact get in the middle of it and then will become spiritual fathers to kids and then just walk away from them. And these kids are heartbroken, and thank God they're resilient. Kids are resilient. I say kids. I don't know. That's probably not the right phrasing. Teenagers are resilient, and they keep coming back, and they keep opening up their heart again for somebody else to break it. And I remember having a conversation with you and saying, okay, listen, you're young, you're inexperienced. There's all the reasons to say no to this. But I'm going to say yes if you tell me you're committed to this long term.
Mm-hmm.
That now the Gabes that are coming into high school, if you're going to commit to saying, I'm going to walk this out with him, and I'm going to be there for him for his high school career, then I say, yes, let's do this. Let's move forward. But if you're just saying, I'm just wrestling spiritually and looking for, an outlet to preach or whatever, then I don't want another outlet to preach. I want somebody that's going to dive in and commit to this long term. And I think that has been maybe the thing that during the months of 7, for me, I've said, it's okay, he's there long term. It's okay at 7, it's okay, because it's not always going to be 7.
Yep.
So let's talk growth for a second. Let's talk, again, we could say the same thing in young adults. Your first night you had 2, and before you left to go on sabbatical, you had 38 or whatever around a room. So let's talk growth. Let's talk how obviously our church is growing. So you're having easy influence into people's lives that are coming into the church.
Right.
But personally in youth or in young adults, what's some nuggets, people watching this, what's some nuggets of growth that you would say, hey, here goes some things I'd say?
I mean, Mr. 1,000% over here.
I'm gonna say I'll take the lead.
Go for it.
You got to be consistent. Like, you got to be consistent with, if you say you're going to do something, do it and follow through. And like there's many times where I've made a mistake and I haven't followed up on the back end. But like, I can point to a million times where the follow up is the most important part.
For sure.
Of, we had a huge turnout and conference at Winterfest. And if we wouldn't have followed up the way we followed up after Winterfest, like we had 28 at Winterfest. If we wouldn't have followed up the way we did followed up, we wouldn't be where we are right now. But because of what we did, we're now already at that number signed up to go to Winterfest, and we announced it yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's you have to be consistent. Like, if you say you're going to do something, do it. And if you're going to put a system in place, maintain the system.
Agree completely. Give me a nugget.
I would say care for your most popular person and your least popular by eye test standards the same way, with the same passion.
Absolutely.
Because when you reach the outliers of both, I think you reach everybody in between as well, and they feel that.
Yeah.
Love it.
And so I'm not the best preacher. I'm not the best teacher, but I can look in a room and see who's needing attention and make them feel valued. And so I feel like when you make people feel valued and you're intentional about that, making sure everybody has their place in a room, then I feel like they'll want to come back for that.
Love it.
Yeah.
Great wisdom. All right. Senior pastors watching this, what do they need to do? What support do you need them to give to? Would you say, hey, to your youth pastor, you should do this, or for your youth group, you should do this? What do you need from them? If they were to sit in front of their youth pastor and say, "What do you need from me?" Like I do y'all every single week. What would you say to that pastor watching this that wonders what his youth pastor needs from him?
Talk about youth group. Talk about the next generation.
It's a game changer.
It's huge. Like the senior pastor, obviously you know the weight that you have in your role. You know the voice that you have over the house. If you don't make it sound important, it is important. If you don't make it a point to your congregation that it's important, they won't know.
So true.
They won't know.
Talk about it.
You got to talk about it.
What'd you say?
I would say allow young adults to have a place in your church.
Yeah.
I would say we're not talking just speaking and preaching, even though I feel like we do that well. I feel like we're doing well there. Be intentional about volunteer groups, small groups, finding ways to incorporate them so that they want to be a part of your church.
I mean, right now we have a young adult on the podcast. We have 3 young adults back there running the podcast
as well.
Literally.
I mean, this is what we do.
And I think with the young adults nowadays, like on a more general sense, we're all generally more creative. Like if you give them a space to do their thing, like be creative in their own way, or give them a space to be creative with other people, or talk about things that they're all interested in. Like if you, like you said, make a place for them, that's huge. That goes a long way.
Yeah, and there's people who may not be called to ministry, and that's not. I'll say this. Maybe this might be the first bleep out word on the podcast, but it's not as sexy when you have a young adult who's not as.
Man, did y'all hear that beep? I heard that. That was crazy, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
It doesn't have, like, sometimes for the pastor, they're looking for that guy who's wanting to be a senior pastor or wanting to be the youth pastor, but there may be somebody who wants to be the next, 4-star Michelin chef, and then, are you trying to connect them to maybe there's somebody you have in your congregation who owns a restaurant? Help them make that connection there, and so I think you're building value that way in their lives. Yep. So,
yeah, for sure. What age does young adults start and stop?
This is a great question for us. It starts after. I mean, you turn 18, and then to 25.
25, okay. Yeah.
And
so you're almost not a young adult anymore.
There's great debate.
You're getting close.
I got gray hairs.
Yeah, I was about to say, dude, you're shining over there.
I got gray hairs.
Yeah, but there's great debate on that, But
what is the hardest part of being a 24? How old are you? 23?
24.
24-year-old youth pastor. Listen, I know this sounds crazy. People are watching this. They're like, your youth pastor is 24 years old?
24.
And started when he was 23 years old. Like,
a kid. I'm
this
kidding
is
myself.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Carson is the anomaly. He is that mature. He's like an old man, number one. But number two, like, it truly is spiritual father, spiritual son. Give my son an opportunity. Let's do this. I'm going to walk with you through this. He and I had this conversation today of sometimes I believe in you more than you believe in yourself, know?
No doubt.
And
100%.
And sometimes it's that role. But yeah, 24 years old, youth pastor at a mega church, and what are you doing?
I don't know, honestly.
What's the hardest part of being a youth pastor at 24?
I think I'm close enough in age to them that they sometimes view me as a buddy, as a friend.
Yeah.
And sometimes not as pastor.
Interesting.
I think
I would totally agree. That's a thing.
It's hard. There's some, especially some of the younger ones, where they're, that's just Carson, and yeah, I'd say that's probably the hardest thing is like, especially being young enough that they view me as buddy or bro or friend or Yeah. So that's definitely a challenge.
That's awesome.
And then there's some of them that call me Unc. Like they say that I'm old. They say that I'm old. They call me Unc.
Oh
Lord.
I said op, like opposition. I said, like, man, you got to watch out for your ops in the middle of a sermon. And some from the congregation, somebody said, Unk. I said, you gotta be kidding me. No way.
Did I ever tell you my mini-me story?
Oh, no.
I got asked to go do a youth retreat. I was preaching hundreds of teenagers. Hundreds. And I was preaching, and I said, $1 million. And it was crickets.
Oof.
Nobody had any clue what I was talking about.
No.
Or what $1 million represented. And so then I immediately switched and talked about how old and out of touch I was with the younger generations, because none of y'all have any clue who Austin Powers is.
That's how I feel. It's like just an old man.
But again, the flip side of it is exactly what you need in young adults.
Absolutely.
Because young adults, they don't want the... Carson couldn't do young adults. They need somebody that's been there, done that, lived it out, that they can point to and say, that's what I want to become.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Youth group wants somebody cool. Young adults want somebody mature.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for not being cool and being mature instead.
Shout out
Yeah.
Donnie, not being cool.
A weird guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
What's up,
Unk and Unk.
I
But he
am.
got a little, he's a little babyface assassin right
That's what he
now.
called
He
us.
ain't got no...
Label this episode Unk and Unk with the bish.
With the bish.
With the bish.
Anyways, to the pastors watching this, youth leaders watching this, people who are engaged in the local church, youth ministry, young adults, don't drop them off. Don't just push them in a back corner. Elevate them inside of your church, inside of your conversations. Make what they do important, and allow them to be celebrated inside of your ministry, inside of your church.
100%.
Thanks for what you do. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Peace.